How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another show. This is You May Roscoe, and I am Roscoe. And today we're going to have a little bit of a somber tone on today's show because this particular reaction is actually, not just a reaction, but a dedication to an Australian legend that was actually lost to us, the world at large, some 3 days ago. And I'm always, any legend, whether I know about him, because I hadn't heard of Archie Roach myself. But according to what I've been told, like I said, an Australian legend, a guy who has quite the backstory, and this particular song, once we get to it, actually kind of tells of not just his story, but a story of a lot of the aboriginal people from Australia, and how they were taken away from their homes and the such. So we'll be doing this. Before we get into it, I do want to ask for anybody who hasn't that they please subscribe to the channel, and also make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you'll be reminded of anytime any future shows are being published. And I'm going to give a shout out to Dr. Cap. Dr. Cap, I love you. I want to give you not only much love, but your shout out for bringing this guy to my attention, because I wouldn't have known had you not told me about this guy and his story, which I'm now that I know, I'm very intrigued about. But we're gonna go ahead and start this thing up. So let's go ahead and do that. I need to pause that so I can read that. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander viewers are warned that the following episode may contain images and voices of deceased persons. All right, cool. Um, so the warning has been issued. So let's do this.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, on our journey, our YouTube journey through Charcoal Lane. Today we'll be discussing or acknowledging Sorry Day and Reconciliation Week. Sorry Day is a time when many Australians and government express their sorrow or apologise to Aboriginal people and Torres Strait Island peoples in this country for past injustices, in particular, removing children from families. And Reconciliation Week is important because it's reconciliation to me. It's like two different stories coming together, like the fresh water and the salt water. There's a place where those two waters meet, and it's neither fresh water or salt water, but a combination of both stories coming together, and it creates this whole new ecosystem, this whole new story. And so that's what reconciliation means to me, coming together of two different stories, like the fresh water and the salt water, creating this new story, and for this country. And we're all the authors of this new story. On National Sorry Day, the first people I think of course, is my mother and father. And so I think that's what it's really about for me, how they would have carried on and I know that they went their separate ways not long after we were removed, and it would have had a lot to do with us being taken from them. So yeah, I think of mum and dad, and I didn't know those two old people, but I have stories. I have stories about my mother, stories about my father, and I think that's the reason we have stories. Remind us of who we are and where we're from, and our people, our country. On the day,
Yeah, I'm gonna stop this for a second. Um, just for the, I of course I have to stop it every now and again. I'll back it up a little bit. Now, me myself, I have not heard up until today about National Sorry Day, as he put it, and now that I'm hearing this story, because I've heard stories about the Aboriginal people from Australia and some of the atrocities. Just kind of in passing for me. I'm going to be honest, and I haven't done a lot of research on that whole subject myself. And I was really hoping actually that my one buddy, uh, Jovi, who's actually we do or we had a podcast that we were doing. Um, that one was called the Warheads, and he's actually I always call him the smarter of the two warheads. Him being one and I'm the other one, and he's he has a vast wealth of knowledge on just so many subjects, including this one right here. So I would have really liked to, and I still intend to do, another show about Archie Roach that will include Jovi. So that'll be interesting to hear some of his views and takes on this subject. But just me myself, like I said, I hadn't heard of National Sorry Day. Um, so this is definitely an education for me. And Dr. Cap, she kind of brought to my attention, some of the things that were happening, and some of the things that Archie has mentioned already himself about how some of these Aboriginal kids were taken away from their families and were put with white families, in order to be re-educated, pretty much in that way, as opposed to their natural whatever would have been their natural growth and life experiences had they stayed with their families. So this is, again, like I said, this is going to be an education for me. So I'm going to continue this thing.
about my father, and I think that's the reason we have stories. Remind us of who we are and where we're from, and our people, our country. On the day that on the day when we were taken away, myself, two sisters, Gladys and Diana, were taken. I was only 2 years old, so I don't really recall that much about it. But it's what I've been told, that Dad, upon hearing we were being taken, came running up and wanted to fight all the police and the welfare people, and my uncles, my mother's family, had to jump on him and stop him. Otherwise, he would have been arrested, and that would have just been worse, I think. Yeah.
Crazy.
We'll talk about that later on when we get to that song that I wrote about that time. But yeah, so my heart goes out, and I think of those people. I think of the children that were taken and grown, and the different institutions that were sent to. Yeah, all around the country. I never realised the extent of what took place until I started to actually ask questions about it. And people had come up to me actually and say, "Yeah, I was taken away," and much older than me as well when I was a bit younger. And I thought, wow, this must have been going on for a long time. And and then it wasn't until later on that I realised the extent of the removal of children from families, and thought, and just thought, why would they do that?
That's what I'm thinking about myself. Like, why would that? The thing that's actually surprising to me is like how recent these events are. Like if someone was to tell me that these events happened somewhere close to the time where Africans were being transported, from there to America just to become slaves, or somewhere around that time, then it would have made more sense in my head. I guess, if you want to call that making sense at all. But how recent this is, because if Archie just passed, then these set of atrocities is only like just some couple of generations old. Like our grandparents and stuff like that, if we still have them, or not, we're still, we're a part of that generation. So that's like really stunning to me, like how recent these events are. But let's keep this thing going.
So yeah, so now we come to that song, "Took the Children Away," and this is a version we did recently on what they call a recharge festival, and that's not having another charge. It's called the Recharge Festival, and was joined by two other musicians, Sam Manning on bass, and Stephen Magnuson on guitar. And so I hope you enjoy this version, and we'll see you again next week.
All right.
It's
All right. So looks like the song part of it is gonna go ahead and start now, and it's live, so that's good. Let's push that back a second or two, and now that the song is coming up, Archie Roach, everybody.
it's become a healing song for me now. Anyway, every time I sing this song, I let a little bit of it go, and I've been singing it for a long time now. And each time I've sung it, it's been that release, that little bit of release, and that's a great thing about music and songs. For me, anyway, it has a healing quality. It's took the children away. Story's right, story's true. I would not tell lies to you, that the promises they did not keep. How they fenced us in like sheep. Said to us, come take a hand. Set us up on mission and they told us to read, to write and pray. Then they took the children away, the children away. The children children away, snatched from their mother's breast, said this is for the best, took them away.
Wow, literally. Yeah, literally. This is pretty impactful right here. This is this has really got my wheels spinning right now. Let's keep this going.
The welfare and the policemen said you've got to understand. We give to them what you can't give. Teach them how to really live. Teach them how to live, they said. Humiliated them instead, and they taught them that and taught them this. And others taught them prejudice. You took the children away. The children away. Breaking our mother's heart, tearing us all apart, took them away. One dark day on Framingham, they came and did not give a damn. My mother cried, go get their dad. He came running, fighting mad. Mother's tears falling down, and Dad shaped up, stood his ground, and he said, you touch my kids, well, you got to fight me. Then they took us from our family, took us away. And they took us away, snatched from our mother's breast, said this is for the best, took us away.
This is wow. Wow, man. This kind of hit me in the feels a little bit. Like I'm trying to like honestly like fight back. I'm starting to well up a little bit, but I'm trying to hold it in. But like this is deep. This is really really deep, and I really wonder what happened. Well, I can imagine. You know, just given I know how some of these people who are the dominant. The how white people have been. The ones that have done these kind of atrocities to people. But I can just imagine what would happen to any of the Aboriginal parents who tried to fight against, having their children taken. What ended up happening. But let's keep this going.
For the best, took us away. Oh.
Man, they're rocking out though. The musicians, they're definitely setting the right tone for this thing. This story that's being told. I can't say that much, but let's go ahead and conclude this.
Told us what to do and say, taught us all the white man's ways about, and they split us up again and gave us gifts to ease the pain. sent us off to foster homes. As we grew up, we felt alone, 'cause we were acting white, feeling black. And one sweet day, the children came back, the children came back, the children came back. Back where their hearts grow strong, back where they all belong. The children came back. Said the children came back. The children came back. Back where they understand, back to this mother's land. The children came back. Back to their mother, back to their father, back to their sister, back to their brother, back to their people, back to their land. Oh, the children came back. The children came back. Oh, the children came back. Yes, I came back.
Wow.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Let's go ahead and stop that. Phew. That was Archie Roach. Um, with the explanation first of all of National Sorry Day and the Stolen Generations, and then with the live performance of "Took the Children Away," and that was an incredibly powerful song. Um, Very, very powerful song for me because again, this was education about a subject that I wasn't well versed in, and didn't really know the extent of. Well, I had no clue up until today what National Sorry Day was, But after hearing his story and then hearing the song, it kind of puts everything together, man. And like I said, I'm really, really shocked by how few generations away as far as time goes, how many eras, how many decades that this is very recent. I would have, if somebody were to ask me about this or to make a guess as to when these things were happening, I wouldn't have thought, anywhere in the 1900s, or anything like that. I would, what you would have asked me, I would have said it sounds like a story that would have happened in, 16 or 1700 and something, or whatever the case is. But these are fairly recent events. And this is really sad, when I think about it, just all of the things that have happened to uh, black and brown people around the world. You hear is the one thing that's happened, with us, those who are in America, and we know all of, well, a good portion of the stories that happened with, chattel slavery and all that that's happened here. But I've also heard of like some other stories from some other parts of the world. You know, there's places in the world in recent times, in very, very recent times, where you know the darker skinned people in the countries, countries like, I want to say, well, I don't want to name the countries because I'm not exactly sure, whether, but they're like Caribbean type places that I've heard where um, they've actually went to the extent of offering to ship the darker skinned people out of the country, you know, just for the sake of, just to kind of make the landscape a little more light and white, if you will. But a lot of these stories are just tragic. And it's sad that we live in this world, even still to this day, where there's so much prejudice against a people and unprovoked prejudice even, that's the crazy thing. It's like it'll be one thing if, like, this was, you're committing whatever, or doing whatever atrocities to somebody who's done something to you. But each of these situations is just like people just living their lives and trying to make it in this existence. And then you have these people being uprooted from wherever they're originally from, and pretty much displaced and placed in other places, or death has happened a lot, in those situations for those. So sad tale, really really sad tale, but important. You know, I think that especially like in this country, things like critical race theory have been brought up. It's pretty much one of those things where um, the dominating race kind of wants to rewrite the truths of what happened, to not to have future generations not know about some of these atrocities that actually went down the way that they did, maybe to take some of the guilt away or what have you. But I'm totally not for that. I mean, history is what it is, and I think it's important to um, and not only leave the history as it is for people to be able to see what it was truthfully, but to be able to learn and grow from these things. Like how do we have the conversations that are going to bridge the gaps if if things are being omitted and lies are being told or whatever's happening, but um, we won't get better as a whole with that type of thing happening. So um, that's just my the way I feel on it. Again, I'm not an aficionado. I'm not the smartest guy, to really discuss a lot of these issues. Like I said, I really wish I had my one buddy here with me because he's a lot more versed in a lot of this stuff. But I will get him involved in some of this, like really really soon. So um, Archie Roach, I do want to say, man, because he's not with us anymore, but rest in peace, rest in heaven. Um, I'm sorry that I'm just finding out, about you while you're not with us anymore. But I always say this about any of the artists, whether they're singing artists or artists that paint or any of those. But if their art is left behind for us to still enjoy, then those people are immortals, for as long as that art is with us. So, um, Archie, your physical ain't here, but you're still with us, bro. You're still with us, and I'm glad that I got to check this out. I really am. But with that said, I'm gonna get ready to get up out of here. Before I do that, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the share button, hit the playlist option. I'm gonna go ahead and create an Archie Roach playlist. You know, and you'll find this in there. And I will like check out more of his stuff, going forward, just to see what that catalog is like. But that playlist will be a thing. I do have playlists for other artists as well, so make sure you check out all of that stuff. The Cash App, $ you made Roscoe, PayPal at you made Roscoe for those who like to show their support or appreciation for the work being done. There's that. And that's all I got. That's all I got. So um, yeah, that was it is like I said, I was welling up for a second, but I'm stayed strong for Archie, you know, and even him when he was performing, it was just like I could see that, I could see him welling up a little bit, but um, you're an immortal, brother. Just know that, and I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna get going. Close this curtain down. I will see you guys again very soon. So until next we meet, you guys be safe and be good.